intends to go about it, because she happens to be the only woman now who will be contesting for these two top positions in both houses. After we saw in the National Assembly, Lesuda and Wangari stepped down. Betty?
Patrick Amimo, I'll be joining you later on to just bring us up to speed with the ongoings at the Parliament precincts. Remember that today the senators are also getting their induction. Yesterday the elected members of Parliament also got their orientation, and we'll be going back there to follow through with what's happening. But meanwhile, members of Parliament elected under the Jubilee Party are holding a parliamentary group meeting today. Our senior political affairs reporter Chris Thairu will be covering the PG meeting and now joins us with the latest. Chris, thank you very much for joining us. So where is this meeting going to be happening, and what really is the agenda looking into tomorrow, where we will be having the swearing-in ceremony?
Well, a very good morning to you, Betty. And the meeting, the first parliamentary group meeting for the Jubilee members-elect is expected to start at around 11 a.m. at State House, Nairobi. And it will be chaired by President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta himself. And, of course, the Deputy President William Ruto will also be present in that meeting. Top on the agenda, my colleague Patrick Amimo has just given you a lineup of some of the candidates, of some of the applicants who have shown interest for various positions in the 12th Parliament. That is the position of the two speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate, and their deputies, and of course other departmental committees. That's for the chairmanship. And today's meeting is expected to come up with the concrete decision on who actually will be elected come tomorrow for the position of the both speakers and their deputies. And as we speak for now, it's that it's all settled that Justin Muturi, who served as the Speaker of the 11th Parliament, might be retaining his seat, going by this overwhelming support that he has received in his application. Although one, if at all, one wanted to apply for that position, they were being needed at least to have 20 signatures from members of Parliament. He managed to get close to 120 signatures of members-elect who gave him the green light that he should continue serving as the Speaker of the National Assembly. And today's meeting, by the end of today, will be knowing whether that will still stand. When we go to the position of Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly, the Kuresoi North Member of Parliament elect, that is Moses Cheboy, was the only applicant, and that goes without any saying that he then will be elected, because he's the only candidate for that position. But Betty, interesting is that the position of the Speaker of the Senate, that is where the whole story is, and lobbying has been there for the last 2 weeks. By last evening, we saw that the Nairobi Senator-elect Johnson Sakaja, who wanted to be the Deputy Speaker in the Senate, dropped his bid despite having forwarded back his application forms. And he did that in support of the former Bungoma governor, that is Ken Lusaka, who did not manage to reclaim his seat on a Jubilee ticket. And he's been fronted there to take that position from Ekwe Ethuro. And the politics around that has been that Ekwe Ethuro, as the Speaker of the Senate, did not really show that, they did not really overwhelmingly campaign for the president, did not show any interest in trying to push the agenda of the Jubilee party in the Senate compared to how Justin Muturi performed. And he's actually been, there's that pressure from different sides, that different friends and of course foes trying to tell him that yes, you did your term, that one term, let someone else take that position, someone who they believe that can push the Jubilee agenda in the Senate. And that person that is being fronted and who actually is being touted that he might take that position is Ken Lusaka. But we'll still be waiting to see by the end of the day whom they will have decided. Because remember that in that list we also have Farah Maalim, who who, although he's on the opposition, is trying to get that seat. And he was the deputy speaker in the 10th parliament, that is the National Assembly. The 10th parliament was the deputy speaker. Although he did not get the Garissa township seat, he was floored by Aden Duale on a Jubilee ticket, and he's trying to get that position. On the other hand, we have James Gesami, who unsuccessfully tried to get the Nyamira governorship position. And there have been talks that since the Kisii region really delivered for the Jubilee government, at least they should get someone from that region who will come and take a big position, that is. And initially we had the talks of Charles Nyachae. We had the former senator of Kisii, that is Chris Obure, who had already picked those application forms, but when it came to returning those forms, they did not return them. And the talk has been that maybe they were prevailed upon by the top leadership in Jubilee. And remember that, Betty, given that Jubilee party enjoys majority of members in both houses, whoever that they will decide will be taking that position by the end of the day. Of course, he will have an upper hand, and he or she might be the person who will take that position. On the deputy speaker position in the Senate, the person that is being fronted by the Jubilee top leadership is Susan Kihika, the senator-elect of Nakuru, and she served as the speaker of the first county assembly of Nakuru County. Betty, apart from the Jubilee party, we also have NASA. It's also expected to hold its first parliamentary group meeting. That's bringing on board members of parliament and the senators. And we also understand that governors or those who are elected and NASA are also welcomed for today's parliamentary group meeting. Remember that last week there was that talk that they might not attend tomorrow's swearing in, and that they might nab that swearing in. And the argument was that the president would have waited until the ruling of the Supreme Court so that the first sitting of parliament can be convened. But what we saw is that it has already been gazetted, and tomorrow is the day that has been set on that gazette notice when members should take oath of office. And the members have been, although they're in the opposition, but they have been talked that if governors who are elected and NASA managed to be sworn in, and there was not that hula baloo, then the members of the National Assembly and the Senate, then they should also be allowed to participate in tomorrow's taking of oath. And that will be one of the main agendas in the NASA team. And remember, they'll also be trying to put their heads together to see who will be taking which position, the minority position. Remember, in the National Assembly, we had Francis Nyenze, and the talk out there has been that he did not perform as the opposition really wanted. And that position is said that it's now being touted that ODM party might be taking that position. Remember, it was Wiper that had that position in the 11th parliament, but this time around, the talk has been that ODM will be taking that position. When you go to the Senate, we know that in the minority leader, we had Moses Masika Wetangula, who is one of the principals of NASA, and he was elected as the Bungoma senator, and he might probably be retaining that seat as the leader of minority in the Senate. And when you go to the watchdog committees, we know that the chairmanship of the Parliamentary Accounts Committee and the Parliamentary, the Public Investment Committee, they come from the opposition, and we'll also be seeing some candidates or some applicants who have already shown interest to chair these powerful watchdog committees in both houses, that's the National Assembly